Is it working? Yes. Hi. All right. So you're still here. It's 6 p.m. So good for you. Good for me. And tonight I'm Fanny Lakoubay. I advise artists and art collectors who want to join this fun Web3 and NFT space. And tonight, instead of just writing down 10, dumb tips that I come up with, I prepared a little experiment about decentralization. So give it up for decentralization. Anybody? Decentralization? Yes, I knew you were part of the decentralized people. So the idea tonight is that I'm gonna give you the 10 tips because I promise I would do it. But I'm also gonna give you 10 people, artists, curators, collectors to follow in the space that I deeply respect, because having been for a while, since 2018 in the space, of course you can brag about it. I mean, you're also a dinosaur and much older than most people in the space right now. But the value is really in the people that you've met and the connection and the smart people who are in the crypto art space. So tonight I asked 10 people I highly respect to give me their one tip for you guys. So hopefully you leave today with much more than just 10 dumb tips. So let's go. So Serena is a dear friend who founded MOGDA, which stands for Museum of Contemporary and Digital Art. And the first thing she said was that collect art that makes you happy. And it goes back to what Marjan was just saying on stage a few minutes ago, that you have to want to live with the art and the NFTs you collect. Don't be ashamed of it. It's great. It has to make you happy. What you actually have in your wallet. Elena founded CADAF, which stands for so many acronyms. I have to, always go back to acronyms. But CADAF is a crypto and digital art fair. And one thing that I also agree with is that the personal connection with the artist is really the value that you will find in collecting crypto art. A lot of times artists are asked, what is the utility of the art? Which is kind of a silly question for artists. But if you think about it for 1 second, the utility is in the connection that you make with the artist, knowing the story of the artist, the concept behind the art. Of course, it takes longer. It's not as easy as, collectibles or things that you just one click and you just buy a JPEG. But the personal connections are really what's really going to stay with you. Elsie is a great collector, female collector. What I did not mention is that actually in the 10 people that I'm going to mention, there's 8 women and 2 men. Because that's kind of what, if a man was standing in my place, that's kind of what we would get, right? We would get just 2 women for 8 men. So I'm sorry, guys, but, priority to women tonight. So she built a great connection. And again, that came back so much, get to know the artist, get to know the process, learn what's behind, because that's what's going to stick for the long term. Operator LA, great artist duo. Not easy to understand. There's a lot of performance, a lot of experiments, a lot of, very conceptual artist. And I'm a decentralization maximalist, so I was so glad when they said, decentralization is essential. Focus on the artist. Follow where they're going. Don't just buy on one platform. If you like one artist, artists now have the capacity to actually mint their own work. They don't need just one platform. We don't need this re-centralization on 3 or 4 platforms. One man. Well, Ledger. I'm French, as you can hear, so Ledger is a French unicorn, and I had to say it, and I'm glad he said it. That like you have to protect yourself, right? Like we've talked about there many talks today about and in the coming days about security, scams, rug pulls. You have to protect yourself and your art. I think this is very important to really, educate yourself, because it's also the responsibility is on the collector. This is part of the decentralization. Nobody is going to do it for you. So the responsibility is on the collector. Harm is a great digital artist who's done art way before NFTs, and he had this great quote about the fact that the quality of the crypto artworks that you collect doesn't correlate with the value of the cryptocurrency with which you purchase it. And it's like this, we could spend an hour, so not 10 minutes, on like the whole concept of value and price, but very important to remember. Colleen Cash come from the traditional art world, and really that resonated, where she said that you have to live with your art. Like, this is a great thing. You have to experiment with display solutions. Like, you don't want your house to look like a PC Richard store, right? And we've seen a lot of galleries where it's screen after screen after screen after screen. There are many other ways to do the scenography of your art. Lapa Mignon is a great artist, and she said, think long term. Again, you don't want to be ashamed, and there's some things you will keep. This is an art collection. It's not a portfolio that you will speculate with on a 6-month basis, right? Think about what you're gonna give to your kids. Keep in 50 years, you're gonna be like, oh, I got this when I was at NFT.NYC, in 2022. Not with that voice. Charlotte Kent is a great writer and academic, and she's a voice of reason in many occasions. And you will have regrets, and that's okay. We just all live with it. And to finish, Eleonora Brizzi, who's a curator and works with Whale Shark as well, says keep educating yourself. Keep always it doesn't stop. When you get the bug, it's constant. It's every day. It's every day you read, you discover new artists. If you have the bug, you will keep it for a very, very long time. So here you go. These are the 10 tips. But the last one, which should not be one, but should be one, actually, follow and listen to people. I think this is the one thing I want you to live with is that it's Kevin Owoki from Gitcoin said it. It's all about coordination. It's always been. And in the decentralized space, we really need to coordinate between all these projects, all these people, because this is what will make the space thrive and have a long-term longevity. So this is me. Thank you very much. Have a good night.